Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The conversation starts now.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another Pound for Pound ATL. As always, I'm joined by my main man, Toby D. What's going on, Toby? How are you doing, brother?
Man, I don't know, man. If I should have got on this show tonight, because I was doing all right until you started talking about what happened yesterday before the show came on, and now I'm starting to feel sad again.
Man, look, I know that, the Hornets losing in the playoff game against the Centennial Knights. I get it, man. I know that was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for me to watch them 8th grade boys play their heart out and lose that playoff game. But it ain't nothing to get upset about. I mean, we got the Falcons. Wait a minute, that's not what you're talking about, is it, Toby? You're not talking about the Hornets losing in the play? No? I was trying real hard to forget about that winnable game on Sunday.
The pain has come back again. Oh my goodness, bro. Dang.
That was such a winnable game on Sunday, wasn't it?
Man, that's what's painful about it.
Oh, you had
There's no reason for us to lose that game, man. Why we couldn't find any offensive points, man? Like, dude, your defense, yes, our defense has not been the best, especially with a decimated, injured secondary. But still, we held them to 20 points. Now, they didn't have all their superstars, of course, but still, you couldn't score more than 20 points.
It's like I said, if y'all caught that little short I did on Sunday, I've, been trying to get better doing like little stuff like that and plastering it everywhere. Right now, this team is consistently inconsistent. Like, you felt like, even though by all accounts we shouldn't have won against Carolina, really, because that game, like, they gave it to us twice at the end, and we tried to give it back to them. But you felt like, okay, maybe we found something in the passing game. Maybe Mariota gets, finally going to get comfortable in that, like, kind of quick passing, so on and so forth. But no. 23 attempts, 12 completions for 129 yards, no touchdowns. But hey, no interceptions this time. So there's that, right? No.
I'm just wondering, how many times do you need to throw the post route before you finally hit more than one time with the middle bird? I mean, I don't get it. It's a main staple of our offense. We talked about this in the offseason, bro. You got to be able to throw that post route, and you still cannot hit it.
Nope.
You still can't hit it.
And that's the thing, is like, you would think by now, we 9 games in, you would think by now we'd have Mariota have a better understanding what his limitations are, and that the coaching staff would have better understanding and quit asking him to try to do that stuff. Like, I get it. There's some things that you want, mainstays to be, that post route being one, especially if you're going, run the ball. The whole point of one of the major points of running the ball like you do is to get the defense to suck up, commit more to the, commit more numbers to the box, and then you hit them deep. I get it. That's a viable plan. It's a plan that has worked for time immemorial, as far as football goes. But if you can't consistently hit them deep, now it's time to figure something else out, right? Especially if you're going to keep going with Mariota. One of the things I noticed yesterday on those rollouts, like, Mariota is only looking deep. Like, that's the only place. Yes, his eyes are downfield, and awesome. Good job. But they're so far downfield that he's missing the guys that are running, doing this in the middle of the field. Where other quarterbacks who move and scramble and run kill, right? is you find the open guy. He don't try to look for the open guy. He gets locked in on the deep route
Yeah.
and tries to hit it, whether it's Bird throwing towards triple coverage, whether it's Kyle Pitts, but not throwing it towards where he should be throwing it towards. And there's a big debate on Twitter on whose fault was that? Was it on Pitts jogging, or was it on Mariota for not throwing it into the right direction? But both those times, man, you had, I think one time you had Parker Hesse standing basically wide open past the first down yard marker. You had Tyler Algier open multiple occasions in the middle of the field. Like, they see him scrambling and they're doing the scrambling drills. The thing that early on in Russell Wilson's career that he was absolutely killing teams with. He starts scrambling, the guys would find an open spot and sit down. He's not looking for those guys. And it's very frustrating. It's a very frustrating thing to have to watch on a weekly basis.
Yeah, here we are. We got to watch it. I mean, I don't want the season to be over by any stretch, y'all. Listen, it's painful to watch some of the things that Mariota is limited in doing. But man, regardless, I'm loving watching my Falcons play
Oh,
this
yeah.
year.
Straight up.
They have been competitive. Don't get me wrong. I'm very proud of what this team has accomplished in these first 9 games. Even though they 4-5, but who thought they would be here?
Right. Like for the
Still in
most
contention.
right. For the most part, most everybody, and we'll get into that here in a minute, but first I want to get to this Willie Doc, who tipped us $5. We appreciate that. Willie, thank you, sir. He said, what can be done to improve the timing on the deep pass? Seems that our QB play is hitting a ceiling to what we can do. Still optimistic we can win, though. I'm still optimistic that there are games that we're going to be able to win. What you do to improve it is, like, you got to keep throwing. Like, I know it's frustrating for us, but the only way you're going to improve it is to keep doing it. It is to keep trying to match up. Like, I think it may have been Kevin from the Falcoholic made a comment that if this is something that they're going to want to put in, like, and this is going to be a mainstay, then every day after practice, like London, Pitts, all them, they should be staying after and working just on that and trying to figure it out. And we don't know if they are or not, but
That's what I'm about to say. We don't know.
we don't know. But I mean, that's something that definitely needs to be happening. Let's see. Fred Butts tipped us, and we appreciate that, Fred. Thank you, sir. He says, I think Ritter would kill defenses. We're going to continue saying that until we see Ritter. But here's a good reminder, okay? Look at Malik Willis last night against Kansas City with the Titans. He did not look like the Malik Willis in the preseason, okay? Look at how Zach Wilson's struggling. Look how Trevor Lawrence is struggling, at times. And Justin Fields just now seems to be, like, putting it together for him. But that still isn't translating into team wins for Chicago. So, as much as I want to see Ritter, and I do, I want to see Ritter win, like, he can be more successful, I guess is what I'm getting at there.
Yeah.
Let's see. 90s says, drops all over the fields. Pitts is playing like he's high. There definitely seems to be a disconnect with Pitts and Mariota, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to fix it. But there definitely seems to be a disconnect. And it's hard for me to think that, everybody's like, oh, well, Pitts isn't engaged because they're not scheming him open and all this other jazz. It's hard for me to think that because last year he had over 1,000 yards receiving. He's already got more touchdowns this year than he did last year. So, I mean, he's involved. There's just times where, he misses a deep shot, or the first play of the game last week, he bobbles it or whatever. So, I don't know, man. Well, what's your thoughts there?
Look, man. everybody remembers Le'Veon Bell. He had a very unorthodox way that he ran the football, but that unorthodox way worked.
Right.
It looked like he wasn't even gonna make it through the hole. He would delay on purpose to let his block set up, and then he would take off and shoot for about 20, 25 yards down the field, because that was his way of being able to successfully run the football. Equate that to what Kyle Pitts likes to do when he's setting up his DBs. And I think Shantez, I think that's his name, the quarterback that used to play for the Jets.
Mark
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
I think he the one that said how, and earlier on, how Kyle Pitts would lull the DBs to sleep and then he would take off on them.
Right.
It's up to your quarterback, in my opinion, to figure out how his receivers like to set up their routes, getting in and out of their routes, and then working from there. You had Pitts all this time who was working up under you and Desmond Ridder, and you still haven't figured it out. As a matter of fact, Kyle Pitts ran that same route, the same way, that post route in week 3 that he ran in this game against the LA Chargers. Go back and watch it. I even posted it on Twitter. It was the same way. He starts out slow to get the DB set up, and then he just takes off and heads for the post. And guess what? Marcus missed him then too.
Right.
So when your quarterback still can't hit you off that same post route you guys have been trying to attempt to throw and connect on after 9 weeks, there's a problem with that, Doc. And I don't see that on Kyle Pitts. I see that on Marcus Mariota.
Right. No, I agree there. They're like right now with the limitations. I'm gonna get to you in just 1 second. I want to put this one comment up. Josh Gillum says we took Pitts to 4 and asked him to block 80% of the time. I'm sorry, but that's on Arthur. He's here to score touchdowns and catch passes, not to have people that he can block. I disagree with you there. Arthur took him to be a complete tight end, and they said that right out the gate. So, they took the best player on the board. Terry said that he was a BPA kind of guy. They took the best player on the board, in their opinion, and Arthur wants him to be the complete and total package. And right now, our QB play is limited. Okay. And with that being said, they're working towards what they can do with the QB. And that's the way I see it. If next year is the year for Ridder or whoever, which we'll get into here in a little bit, I would imagine that, his production in that aspect is would go up. You can't sit here and tell me that it's on Arthur when you had last year a different style of QB, a more accurate QB, and your rookie tight end has well over 1,000 yards. Over 1,000 yards. So, I don't necessarily agree with you. I see what you're saying, but I think when they drafted him to be, a complete package as far as the tight ends go. Woon, we appreciate you, Woon Carter. $4 from Woon. Thank you so much. Says, rise up, pound for pound family. Glad to be here on a Monday. Why didn't Graham wrap up that ball after recovering it on the fumble? Please explain. He saw all that grass in front of him, and the big man was like, I know I only got about 2 chances in my entire career to, score a touchdown. So, I don't know. Why didn't Drake London hold on to the daggone ball when Khalil Mack come up and snatched it from him like he was taking his lunch money? Like, I don't know. I want to know what happened. Like, did Graham's eyes get that big and he just forgot he was carrying the ball?
I don't know what happened. It looked like initially when he saw the kicker getting ready to come and try to, attempt to tackle him, he was trying to attempt to move the ball over to the other side of his his carrying arm or whatever. But in the midst of doing that, the ball slips out like it had butter on it. Crisco oil, motor oil, or something was on it.
I get it. Oh man, let's see.
Oh man, boy.
Trying to catch up on some of these other ones. Let's see here. Dre Murphy says Tyler Algier was 1 yard shy from having a 100-yard rushing game, though he could have had that if he wouldn't have thrown 3 freaking times in a row with 4 with 4 and some change left in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they were trying to. A lot of people saw that as Arthur going away from the run game, and questioned that. That was a questionable decision, but I think Tyler Algier the last few games has had is really starting to come into what you want to see, which kind of brings us into our everybody's favorite segment, our Fallers and Ballers, brought to you by Crisco Oil. No, it's really not brought to you by Crisco. I'm kidding. It's not brought to you by Crisco. It's it's a deal where I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Algier.
Yeah.
A lot. The growth from week to week. You're right. He had 10 carries for 99 yards. 1 yard away from having that 100-yard game. Worked well, and let's see. He also had one catch for 24 yards.
Y'all. We lost.
What happened? Looked like we had some technical difficulties there. Hold on. We getting it back. Anyway, so the deal is there. Tyler Algier is looking like a real good pickup in the 5th round. If nothing else, he looks like he's going to be a very solid number 2 back, potentially number 1. We'll see how the season continues to go out. And our faller this week is one Drake London. And only because that image still sticks in my head. Who was it? Let's see. Anonymous says, London got his cookie stole. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like, Mac just come up and said, Mac said, what ball? That's right, his ball. I mean, he said, I'm going to take this and just head on to the house with it. Or at least tried to. I mean, like, London, he got his pockets picked on that one.
Boy, hey, who that said? Jay-Z said, allow me to reintroduce myself. He got an introduction to Khalil Mack. And listen, this ain't the first time Khalil has done that. It's just that it's the first time Drake got introduced to Khalil Mack snatching his cookies.
Right. I think it's a deal where you all there's a lot of times you have that whole like welcome to the NFL type deal.
Yeah.
Where Drake London is used to being like one of the strongest guys out there, one of the biggest, more physical guys out there, one of the stronger dudes. And Khalil Mack come up and just said, "Nah, dog, I see you fighting for yards. I appreciate your effort. And now I'm going to reward you with stealing the ball." So
you gonna eat your cornbread.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Oh, Big Low. He tipped us. Appreciate you, Big Low. $10 from me. He says, my brother's
Big
much
Low.
love. He says, I believe Toby's son did the best scouting for all of us at training camp when he talked about Mariota. And that's the super Chad. Yeah, your son was tripping us out up there at training camp talking about the best player was the sideline. That was good time. If y'all ever next year, y'all need to, if y'all can get up to training camp when we're up there, we tend to have a lot of fun. We tend to have a blast. Yeah, he says, Mo Headline says, I get the Drake got attacked by the Cookie Monster, but Armstrong's out there getting beat by 4-string wide receivers. Well, that's because Cornelius Armstrong is a 4th-string cornerback. I mean, that's what we're down to out there. I mean, that was what was worrying me, honestly, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong or what have you. Why is Cornelius Armstrong playing ahead against like Darren Hall and D. Alford? I'm kind of confused by that myself.
Hall was out there?
I think. I'd pull up snap counts, but I'm afraid everything would just detonate on me again. I'm trying to look. I tell you this, in the box stats, Hall did not record a single stat at all. So that makes me wonder, like, what's the deal with Darren Hall? And what's the, why is a guy like Cornelius Armstrong taking the amount of snaps that he's taken? It's
I
very
wonder
concerning.
the I wonder the Alfred's hamstring is fully healed, Doc. Because that may be a reason why he's not getting a lot of snaps. But I didn't even realize Hall was out there. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think he got left in the Hall, and I didn't know 34 was out there, Doc. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I don't remember seeing him out there, but this is 2
Wow.
games in a row that you've had, Cornelius Armstrong showing up, but not for the right reasons. How do you
Looking for
Falcon Mind
love
says
in all the wrong places.
he
Oh,
says,
my
defending
bad.
past the sticks has got to stop, man. Well, okay, I agree. And somebody else said that. Let's see, I'm trying to try to find that comment. Hold on. Dang, I done lost it. Somebody else talking about asking why we're playing so far off. That stuff's got to stop. It's the deal. It's that concept. It's the cover 2, right? It's the cover 2 of, try, or not necessarily the cover 2, but you're trying to keep everything in front of you and rally to the ball. Now they're giving too much cushion, and I don't know if that's a call by, Dean Pease, or if they're just not doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, but they're giving way too much cushion on a lot of those plays. Let's see. Anonymous says the most memorable play from Hall was that the Eckler one when he let him run past him, but the ref said his elbow was down. Okay. Yeah.
That you right, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. Now I remember Hall was out there, because if it hadn't been for the elbow haul, you was gonna be hauling your feet on the sideline, because I know that elbow was down, but buddy, if that elbow was not down and Austin Eckler had made that daggone touchdown, boy, you was gonna be getting cursed
Yep.
out today. But he saved you. The elbow and the white strip saved you.
Fred Butts asked, why does Dean Pease continue to give up the middle of the field every week? That's a product of the cover 2. And that's a product of having your linebackers playing closer to the line of scrimmage. That's the decision that he's made. Like, that's where he's willing to, you have to make sacrifices somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And right now, with the personnel that he has, Dean Pease says, okay, what I'm going to attempt to do is pressure your quarterback with bringing the creepers or what have you, but there's going to be an open zone, and I'm going to pretty much hope that you can't find it. And unfortunately, we're getting pressure. I mean, we've got over 10 pressures in this past game. They're just not getting home. They're just not getting home in time. So that's the part, like, you got to think eventually AK-47 is going to start converting those pressures into sacks. But this was the point that I was making earlier to you and to some guys at work. Right now, we're playing with a lot of rookies and first-year starters. Think about how many guys that you're out there, you're playing Troy Anderson, you're playing Michael Walker, and you're like, oh, this is Michael Walker's 3rd year. First year as a full-time starter. Then you're playing AK-47. You're playing D'Angelo Malone. You're playing Isaiah Oliver, who is coming off of an injury, right? So I'm not trying to make an excuse, and I know that's is what it sounds like. I'm just trying to put it into a perspective for you. And that's just on the defensive side of the ball. I think once these guys get their feet under them a little bit better, it's going to start turning around. I have to believe.
Player, right now you're playing with the replacements, and that's what you got right now.
But I need
You got
Bateman out there.
You got a
Give me the ball.
vulnerable
I'll get you the ball.
secondary. You got a vulnerable secondary, man,
Yep.
and we all know Dean Pease builds his defense from the back to the front, and his
Right.
front is as strong as his secondary is. And right now, your secondary is soft as butter.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
so
until AJ Terrell gets back, like fully back,
Yeah,
which don't know if it'll be this week or not, on Thursday or not.
I
But
don't see it.
I don't either. Until AJ Terrell gets fully back, you're running out there with, Mike Ford and, Cornelius Armstrong
Yeah.
and Darren went walking down the hall. Like, we're, it's not as strong as it was at the beginning of the season, and
No,
it's really
it's
starting to
not.
show.
It's right.
You know,
And if it don't strengthen up soon, we might repeat our 18 sacks. Right now we're at 12.
yeah, we are. Oh, Ricky Gaines, we appreciate you, Ricky, with a $10 tip. He said, trade deadline passed, didn't get a top corner, and still have Damon Williams on the roster. Could you imagine if we got Claypool instead of using the 5th on Edwards? Just a thought. Okay, well, I'm going to challenge your thought, Ricky, with another thought. What target was Claypool going to get? You already got Kyle Pitts and Drake London. You got Olamide Zaccheaus, Demir Bird, and Hodge. You got Anthony Firkser, who can't even be active on game day because there really ain't no point.
Wow.
Because what you need to make this engine go, apparently, is more blocking. And so you're having Michael Pruitt out there, over Firkser, who gives you the better blocking. And I tell you this, everybody right now, like, if you want to sing praises about the run game and the efficiency of the run game and the fact that we've had 4 players 9 games in go over 250 yards, which ain't never been done before. Like, if that's what we want to talk about, then you better start singing the praises of Parker Hesse and Keith Smith.
Yeah.
Because those guys are doing some work. Those guys are doing some serious work. Opening up those holes, making this pistol offense, this heavy pistol formation, like this power pistol, like really run. Boba Fett's in here, which is scary. I don't know if he's looking for somebody. Look, if y'all are wanted, y'all need to keep your head down. Boba Fett's anyway. He says, JR, he says, everybody can do their darn job. We might just be able to rack up some wins. That's that consistency that I'm looking for right now. Right? That's that consistency. Is can we look like the same team week in and week out? I'm not asking right now for necessarily the wins to pile up. I'm just asking, other than the run game, can we do something consistently week in and week out that we can point at and go, okay, that's what we're building towards, right?
Player. We are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right now. You don't know which one's gonna show up, Doc.
You're not lying. You are not lying there. Mo Headline says Claypool doesn't fit our culture. Smith would have blown his head gasket if he had seen him on TikTok. I'll say this: I go to church with a diehard Steelers fan, and I was talking to him about that Claypool trade on Sunday, and that's one of the first things he brought up is like they were just the team itself was tired of his antics. So, yeah. Anyway, so you're right. He would have. I mean, Frank Darby can't even crack the active getting some targets. Really,
Frank Darby's still on the team.
I think so. Look, I have been assured. I have been assured by certain beat writers that these players provide something on special teams.
He provides something on special teams.
Yeah, I mean that's what they say. That's what they say. We got a good special teams, decent special teams.
Yeah, that special teams is pretty good, man.
So, hey, that's what I've been assured of that, and that's the reason why Felipe Franks keeps getting on the roster. It's because special teams. That comes from a beat writer, my friend. I was like, all right, okay, sure.
Yeah, when he ain't flopping. flopping for nothing. Like, dude, what the heck are you doing, bro?
Fall Star Falcon says Ritter will be ready this next season. If he just hits those throws that Mariota misses, we'll be looking pretty solid. I think that's the plan right now, unless they are absolutely blown away by a quarterback in the draft or have a chance to get, have a real legitimate chance to get Lamar Jackson, which I don't see happening. Yeah, I think they're going to stick with Ritter, keep building. They've said it more than once about wanting to build in the Kansas City model.
Right.
Have your team ready to then just drop the quarterback in.
Yeah.
And right now you have, two premier pass catchers in Pitts and London. You have the backbone and makings of a extremely solid run game that you can lean on with a first year starter. And I say it like that because that could be Ritter, not necessarily a rookie, but a first year starter. And yeah, it could turn around quite a bit as far as that goes. Let's see. K-Jack says, shouldn't the team have been more aggressive at the trade deadline for a cornerback? I feel like they should have. I don't know who they could have went out and got, but I felt like they could have been a little bit more aggressive, especially if they knew like Hayward was done for the year or that this injury was going to linger. Because having that secondary being the way it is right now is really hurting us, in my opinion.
It ain't an opinion, dog. We're seeing it hurt us. And I'll tell you right now, if Everett makes that catch after when it hit the third quarter, we could be talking about a totally different game. But he drops it.
Right.
On the behalf of the Atlanta Falcons, he drops a wide open in the middle of the field catch that probably would have went another 20 yards after he caught it.
Yeah, they gotta figure out something there. And now Dre Murphy, that's what I want. Sorry. He says we got that corner from Kansas City though. Yeah, Fenton.
Yeah.
But they probably wasn't just gonna throw him in there right away.
Mm-hmm. He's not really it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he makes it, like if he makes an appearance on Thursday night or not. Let's see. Mo Headline says Frank's on special teams. All right, right on the special practice squad. Yeah, he definitely could be on that practice squad. Oh man, how has the mojo and the feeling has turned from last week to this week. The fans were getting excited, and now we're like, nope, we're just kidding. It's almost like Charlie Brown and Lucy back in the day with the football.
Man, you can't lose a game like that is winnable. No. And that's what hurts. And what hurts even more is that you have a quarterback that's been in the league for 8 seasons now, and he's still unable to detect certain things that he should be able to see by now. How you don't recognize that Derwin James is getting ready to blitz you off the edge on the 3rd down and 3 when you saw this same thing with a corner blitzing you in the Rams game. And I don't remember if I said this in the show that you were going to see some similar stuff that the Rams did because they kept a lot of Brandon Staley's defense over there.
Right. You did. I think you did make that mention.
And so the linebacker is the situation. You had the right blocking scheme there for that when you had the 3 guys in the back. But the problem was Trunco, he just bull rushed Tyler Algier into Marcus. And that's what they teach you to do. You got a rookie up in there like that, you gonna bull rush him and you get back there to the quarterback. But the right call with the pass protection was there for that play because they saw Bobby Wagner do that same similar blitz in week 2 when they was in an empty set. So they had the right call. They just Tyler Algier, he also got a welcome to the NFL moment.
No doubt about that. Good buddy Ghost Pepper says, I get why Marcus is starting when you look at everything in the big picture. However, Ritter not having a package player to at this point is just silly, or he says stupid. I don't know if I consider it to be stupid. Um, I think that a package play or two, I don't know if it necessarily benefits Ritter at this point. I'm sure had situation been a little bit different, I think the biggest thing right now is you're still in contention.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Because don't make no mistake, the Falcons want to win.
Yeah.
They want to win. They want to get into the playoffs. And right now, yes, you're technically in second place in the NFC South, but if you beat the Panthers, you go right back up into first place.
Right.
Because I'm not until that's why I put in like the tweet that I put out. If you lose to the Panthers and you drop to like third or in the division or whatnot, or even fourth in the division, I think now you really start looking at, okay, maybe we finish out the season with Ritter in there. I think the moment that you get out of contention,
Yeah.
I think you pull the plug on Mariota.
Mm.
That's my opinion there. Tony says, put Cordarelle Patterson back to the receiver position. I know you keep saying that, Tony. I appreciate you, like your enthusiasm there, but they figured out what he's at best at, and at best is being able to move him around from the backfield to the slot or to out wide, wherever they think the matchup is.
Boy, when you got a limited quarterback, though, there's only so much you can do. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but you got to run your offense so you know next year how defenses are trying to play you. And if Ritter is going to be that guy, now he'll have plenty of film to be able to see how they were being attacked when he's in the offense, and he'll be able to see more of the ins and outs of the offense with Mariota. When we said this, whoever was going to be that guy was going to be modeling for the next guy, and that's
Right.
unfortunately, it don't look as good, but Mariota is still the model right now that we
Right.
got to go with.
Our
For
good buddy
Desmond Ritter.
Chris Jameson, who's up there in Oregon, he says it's too early to be starting to talk about Bo Nix. Yes, it's way too early to be talking about Bo Nix. Like, you got to remember, Chris, for most of us down here, we've watched Bo Nix for the past few years at Auburn. And you're going to have, I know he's having a great season up there in Oregon, but you're going to have a hard sell selling, fans of the SEC on Bo Nix as a legitimate starter. So I'm just saying, I know, like I said, I know he's having a great year up there, but that's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, we got a positive believer up in the chat tonight. K Jackson, see if you can find him.
Let's see. K Jackson says Falcons should win the division. Bucks look old, Panthers no QB, and Saints not looking too good. That is that's the hope. Like I said, as much as we're sitting here talking about want to get Ritter in there, want to get this thing moving, as long as you're in contention for this NFC South, dude, they're gonna stay the course. They're gonna look at this as going, okay, have we made just a few more plays, we'd have won that game, so on and so on. That's what I'm talking about. If you win Thursday, if you go up into Charlotte and you sweep the Panthers, okay, and you can say what you want to about the position that the Panthers are in team-wise, but if you go up there and you sweep the Panthers, no, like there's a lot you going that will go a long way.
Yeah, but like I said, man, that sounds good. Winning the division, cause that would definitely be a surefire lock getting in at least as the fourth seed. And having one game at home. But man, like I said before, this team reminds me so much of Jacksonville in 2010. It was similar situation. David Garrard, he threw a lot of turnovers and caused a lot of turnovers, but he still, at the end of the day, you still had a chance to win the division and get into the playoffs. They just lost it at the last 3 games of the season. But hopefully, let's see what happens, man. We still are in it. We can still possibly get the 7th seed, because right now these other teams in the NFC,
Ain't nobody
Green
looking.
Bay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there ain't nobody looking like they want to win that 7 seed, that wild card.
yeah,
Um, Jay Nudie says, honestly, I'm happy with our team this year. I think our rebuild is ahead of schedule, but with the money we're going to have this offseason, we'll be a dominant force in the NFL soon.
yeah.
I think you've hit one of the nails on the head. Okay.
Right.
You were like your first year with this regime was basically, the start of a complete dismantle. You got rid of 3 of your franchise players, 2, like
Hmm.
1 the first year, 2 this year. You are getting out under some really like hefty contracts. And so you're going to roll into next year with what, close to, I think, 60 or so million right now, but it
Hmm.
could get close to like 80 million depending on what moves you make.
Right.
So you're rolling into next offseason with a whole bunch of money. And depending on how this season rolls out, you have um you have some promising pieces already
Yeah.
in place.
Hmm.
Like I said, you're getting a lot of young guys a lot of playing time this year, and that
Hmm.
could pay dividends in the next few years.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tony Wright says, if we are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we're about to roll out 4 victories in a row to take us to the bye week. That would be nice. That
Yeah.
would be
It
very,
would.
very nice. Um, Anonymous also points out that the Bucks have an easy schedule moving forward.
Yeah.
Um,
They do.
going. So that's something else to keep in mind. It would have went a long way last night had the Rams been able to do us a favor and
Yeah.
beat the Bucks, and they didn't. So that does make it interesting. Let's see. Let's keep rolling here. Jork Knight said we had our share of almost. We are going to turn the corner in a good way now. I mean, you got to figure that that's the hope, right?
Yeah.
That is the hope.
Well, it
Blizz
starts
18
Thursday.
says, yep. Blizz 18 says 4 seed division champs 8 and 9. Very well could be one of those type of years. You have one of those every now and again where, um, a losing team wins a division. So then now that you have no way of being a 500 team, you're either a winning team or you're not. Which is another thing to think about. Like that brings it up. How allergic are we to being over 500? Like they don't want to have a winning record.
Apparently not.
Every time, uh, every time we get close, well, I think we're what 13 games strong now,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we had a chance
13
to go
straight.
over
Yeah.
500 and we didn't.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bad, yet another history making stat there. I think now we may. Anonymous says allergic to 500. That's right. That's right. I think there's a pill for that, maybe, or at least there probably will be. Uh,
Yeah.
Shane says, Toby, I feel you. I'm also not wearing my hat. I got my Reese's Senior Bowl hat on today. I'm starting to look forward
Oh
to that.
man.
Starting to look at that. The draft season coming up. You sent me a message the other day talking about you weren't necessarily, at least right now, starting like really feeling this draft all that much.
Not yet.
Um,
I'm gonna have to dig into it, man. But I'm not. This class here reminds me of the 2013 class that from early looks at it, and
right.
yeah.
Well, I'm really hoping, like honestly, I'm really hoping some trench play starts to separate itself. That's what I kind of have my eye on. I know there's already a few running backs that I have my eye on because I
Yeah,
really think having an elite running back talent could go a long way.
it
For
could.
us, I think Tyler Algier is looking really well, but if we had somebody that was in the realm of a prime CMC or a Saquon or something like that,
Yeah,
even Ezekiel Elliott when he first came out, like could really do wonders. Man, I'd be willing to give up a second round for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. James Williams says, "What's up, P for P? What was the last? What was that last possession? Three straight passes got away from what was working. They saw something. Something had them thinking that was going to work. Whether it was the coverages that that the Chargers rolled out in. I couldn't say for sure, but yes, as fans, you're like." They're weak on the outside, outside edge. They hadn't really been able to stop the outside run all game. Why you didn't just try to do that? Hindsight's 2020, I would imagine.
I mean, here's the deal. They ran the ball on the first down, got about a couple of yards. Second and 8, saw the box was stacked, and they went for it. Now I don't blame them. Look, the worst case scenario, you're hitting a field goal there, right? Best case scenario, you're down there on the 20-yard line if Pitts can't take it all the way in, and you get a touchdown. So what does that mean? You're taking a chance that Los Angeles got to take it all the way down the field, and they got to get a touchdown in order to even win that game. And so that's what you're looking at. You're weighing your options there. Unfortunately, Marcus Mariota still can't hit the post route, so that none of that made any sense anymore because it's null and void because he can't hit post route still. After throwing it about 7-8 times, and you only hit it once the whole season.
Right.
But anyway.
No, I mean that's right. You like at the end of the day, football is a numbers game. So if you walk up and the box is stacked, the numbers tell you need to throw it.
Yeah.
So again, we're just dealing with a limited passer. That's the unfortunate aspect. I hate it for guys. I mean, I hate it for Mariota, and I hate it for guys like our buddy Chris Jameson, who is a diehard Mariota fan. I hate it for those guys, but that's just is what it is. We're dealing with a limited passer.
Well, he got to see one of the Oregon Ducks win though. Just wasn't ours.
Yeah, it just wasn't our duck. It was the other duck. Quack quack. Anyway, speaking of Chris, he says Hargrave and Payne will both be available next year, as well as Davenport. Davenport doesn't really do much for me. Hargrave is an older guy who is having some success because of that, insane Philly D line they got up there. Payne is interesting. He's a guy who I think for the right price you could throw in the mix with Grady Jarrett and Taquan Graham and form a very formidable defensive front. But yeah, I haven't really dove into like the free agent class, but I really want to see like offensive linemen who's available because I think offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and is where we really need to be focusing on. Let's see. KJ says, pound for pound, would you be open to signing Lamar Jackson if he would become available? The Ravens don't seem to want to pay him. What would you give up for him? Okay, here's the deal. You can't say that the Ravens don't seem to want to pay him because you have to look at what teams, what their history are in that type of situation. They let Joe Flacco bet on himself, and he took him to the Super Bowl. So they're no strangers to holding off on paying a quarterback. Kind of like with the Steelers and wide receivers, or Ron Rivera and his disdain for quarterbacks. Some people just have a tendency, and that is a tendency that the Ravens have shown. I don't expect Lamar Jackson to get out of Baltimore, at least not this year. I would imagine that they would franchise him at least 1 year. I think at the end of the day, what Lamar wants is a fully guaranteed contract. That's what my mind tells me. He saw Deshaun Watson get a fully guaranteed contract. He definitely feels like he's on par with Watson. And the play style that he plays with, he could be done. There's the odds of him being done for a career are much higher than other type of quarterbacks, right? So that fully guaranteed contract is definitely what he's looking for. The question is, as a Falcon fan, are you willing to, give Lamar Jackson a fully guaranteed contract?
Yes, sir. I ain't even debating that question, Doc, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if they was willing to try to go after Deshaun Watson, you got an even better character that you're going after,
I
right?
agree there.
And
But I think the fully guaranteed contract, which is what Deshaun eventually got,
mhm.
I think that's what was the deciding factor. I don't think we were willing to give him that.
We might not have been willing to give him that because of his character flaws. But you're looking at somebody like a Lamar Jackson that's a great stand-up guy, and as far as we know, don't have any blemishes
Right.
on his reputation coming in here, and he definitely fits our mantra of a type of guy that we look for in our organization and can be the face of this franchise. Now, if that were to happen, and I think even if the Ravens even thought about franchising them much, I don't know if they will want to pay that kind of money for 1 year. And I don't even know if he would accept that. If they did, he would probably not play.
Right.
Um, and Lamar's still young too. I don't even know. I think he 25. He just turned
Something like
25
that.
or 26.
Anonymous just put out there like 10 years, $600 million would probably be Lamar's contract. I don't know about 600 million because that's a little crazy. That's a
Dang,
little up.
anonymous.
But something along the lines of like, a 10-year, you know, 300, $400 million, half a bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at 40, $50 million a year to tie up in, to one guy. I mean, I don't know. Because he says, Nottom says that he thinks it's going to be more than Mahomes, to be honest. So that's the deal. Is like Mahomes, like that type of contract. Then I think the big deal, like 100% fully guaranteed. Whew, that would be scary to me.
Man, look, man. This offense is his offense.
Oh, it
So you
is.
already got that part locked down, right? You don't have no issues there. You don't have to start no new offense or anything to fit around him because you're already doing a lot of stuff he does well. And so paying him that kind of money and you got a franchise guy, and check this out. Your stadium is going to be more packed than ever
Oh yeah.
if you get a guy like Lamar Jackson up in here. Let's just be real. Arthur Blank is gonna make him some parking lot money, and he gonna make him some stadium money if you bring a guy like Lamar Jackson here, who also, by the way, has a mentor by the name of Mike Vick. Let's put that into perspective.
Yep. No, I agree. Like you pull that off. Like, I make no mistake. If Jackson gets anywhere near to sniffing like the actual market, like I don't think he'll get there myself. So I haven't really like entertained the idea all that
Yeah,
much.
no, I know. Yeah, I feel you.
But if he makes it there, make no mistake. Like the Falcons will be in on it. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like a third round pick and Ritter ain't standing in your way to Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up. Like, and I get you, Dre Murphy. I really do. Says Desmond Ritter is our future QB. In Desmond Ritter, I trust though.
Yeah,
I get you.
I feel
I
you.
fully get you.
Yeah.
But straight up and down, if you have the chance to get Lamar Jackson, because like you alluded to and Jay said, Lamar is a perfect fit for us. Yes, and he can hit those deep routes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it is interesting. Hold on now. Tony says we are tied for first place. We're not tied for first place. Tampa Bay has a tiebreaker right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have the same record, but Tampa Bay has a tiebreaker right at this moment.
And if New Orleans wins tonight, we're going to be in third place,
Right?
with the same record.
Exactly. So, Ghost Pepper says, I am one. In my opinion, or his humble opinion, there's a 0.00 Lamar comes to Atlanta. The Ravens are going to tag him. They ain't letting Jackson potentially leave for free. That's my point. It's a great thought. It's a fun thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like somebody said earlier, like Lamar's got to want to come here. I think Lamar would be open to coming here.
Listen to me. I have no doubt in my mind, Arthur Blank is a special guy, and he knows Deshaun Watson very well. But it's another thing to have an owner talk to a player. It's even more powerful when you have a player talk to a player who is also a mentor of that player.
Right.
To come to Atlanta and follow in the footsteps and possibly break a lot of his records and finish some records right here in Atlanta on a faster track. I said this before some months ago when we talked about this idea, when we talked about the offense. So that's all I'm saying. I think you got that locked in the box, Doc, with having someone like Mike Vick get in his ear. And Mike Vick is probably waiting to see if he can open up his mouth and entice him to come here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and I agree. But again, I just don't see him. I don't see, you mean, because like look at the NFL right now this year. You got Geno Smith starting. You got Marcus Mariota starting.
Mm-hmm.
You got a handful of rookies that are starting. You got Jimmy G that's starting. You got a turning of the guard in, Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Like, you don't just let franchise quarterbacks walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at Arizona with Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray's a headache. Like, straight up and down. Whether you think it's Cliff Kingsbury, but Cliff Kingsbury may not know what he's doing as far as coaching goes, but like we talk about character type things, like Kyler Murray is an entitled little punk by a bunch of different reports. Okay.
Yeah.
They paid him and they ain't done nothing with him.
Yeah.
Like Lamar Jackson has gotten the Ravens, into the playoffs, in contentions, consistently talking about like being Super Bowl contenders, MVP of the league. No, you ain't letting him walk away.
Look, you ain't got to let him walk away. But I don't see them being able to franchise him. I don't see him agreeing to being franchised. And I'm going to tell you why. Lamar Jackson got hurt last year, right? And he ended up missing most of the season. So somebody like that is not taking a chance on a 1-year franchise deal and possibly get hurt and now ruin any chances of a long-term contract. He would probably sit out before he allowed them to do that. And he's still young.
Now, here's a question, like serious question. Say they franchise him. Franchise him, right? Would you be willing to give up the majority of your draft capital this year to get him? You ain't let me finish. Totally.
Go ahead.
So you pull a Ditka and just trade the whole deal to Baltimore?
Yes, sir. I sure will. Because I already told you, I'm not feeling this draft class at all, Doc. And this would be a perfect time the next 2 years to do it. And with the kind of money you got, you pull that, and I said this now, you pull that Rams philosophy and you get you some players in here in free agency that's going to fit your scheme. Don't overkill. But guess how many, think about how many players. Now, you had players willing to follow Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Think of how many players would follow Lamar Jackson to Atlanta if we are able to somehow sneak away with him on our roster. Think about that now.
Jay Nudie says they can have all them picks. He's out there with you. He said they can have all them picks.
I'm just saying. And it may just be a wet dream and it never happened.
Like Ghost Pepper brings it up. Like Ravens have up to 3 years to tag Lamar, like three times. So it's safe to say that he may remain a Raven for a long time unless he pulls a Watson and attempts to sit out. Now that's the leverage, right?
That's what I'm telling you.
Right. And so it would be very interesting to see like if that's like we're talking like extreme hypotheticals. I mean, if I ain't mistaken, like Lamar Jackson's got a huge like bird tattoo on him, which granted, I mean, it could be a falcon, but I mean, by all accounts, he loves being in Baltimore. That organization has treated him well. Um, so it's just, can they iron out the contract part, right?
uh, look, you probably don't watch these franchise reality TV shows.
I do not.
Eh,
I don't watch TV at all.
But
So
but they got what you call the Black Ink Crew,
okay,
and they just did some rejuvenation of tattoos where they switched the tattoo from what it originally looked like and changed it
okay,
into something else. So he'll just head up on over there and get that
okay.
changed into a falcon
So
and
you
be done
saying
with it.
no problem, right? No problem. Got you. Fred said, "Hey, look, Fred said they can have my dog and the house." So Fred's willing to give. Oh, Chris James says the bird tattoo is his college team, the Louisville Cardinals.
Oh boy.
That's still, either way, it's still funny to
Look,
think about.
look, I know you don't want to dream about it. You don't even want to open up your mind to it. It's tough as it is to try to keep your mind closed to no expectations when this team almost gets you to want to have a small bit of
I'm trying
expectations,
to.
but they close that gap up when they do stuff like they did yesterday. But Doc, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm welcoming this until they fully close the door on it.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Until you say until there is ink on paper for
Exactly.
the Ravens to keep locking him into the Ravens for another 10 years.
Exactly.
Then it's you gonna keep that dream alive is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and he's his own agent right
Yes.
now.
Yep. Somebody said, yeah. Anonymous says Lamar doesn't have an agent either,
Hmm.
so it's just going to be Falcons front office talking to Lamar and hopefully Vic. LOL. Um, but Sip says, I don't see the Ravens making the same mistake they did with Flacco. As much as I'd love to have him, it'd be tough to let him go. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't either. I don't think so. KJ says, "Come on, Jr. Believe in the dream. It can happen." I'm sorry. It just I don't see you don't let a franchise quarterback walk away. Not a young one in his prime. Like
Mhm.
straight up. So that's just my thoughts and my opinions. Look, I'll say it right now. If there's a chance, I hope they take full swings at it. Like no lie, no BS. If they even think there's a chance, they better be
Well,
making phone calls.
let me tell you something. They not only gonna get the starter to take swings, they're gonna get the backup starter, the backup to take a swing. They're gonna get the batting coach to take a swing.
Everybody.
Everybody they can to come in there and take a swing to try to get Lamar Jackson up in here, if it would ever happen.
Right. That's the big deal. Let's see. Tony Rice says the players in that Indianapolis locker room are highly upset with Irsay for benching Ryan because Irsay is the one who did it. That's okay. I get what you're saying there, but that's a weird situation up there in Indy. And you talk about falling off a cliff, like completely.
Man,
Then you got Frank Reich out and Jeff Saturday in as the interim, and Saturday,
that
what are you even doing?
what in the
What are you even
world?
doing? I ain't got nothing against Jeff Saturday. But the dude was an analyst. He's not even in the organization.
I don't even get that.
I mean, I get it in the sense of oh, that's my guy. He played here for a real long time, yada, yada, yada. But that's just silly.
I didn't even know he was interested in coaching.
Apparently he coached for a high school here in Georgia, out there in Decula.
Oh, see, yeah, I didn't know that.
So but that was just high school. He ain't got no college experience. He ain't got no NFL coaching experience, and now he gets to go be, an interim football coach. That's just silly. That just
I,
goes to show you that Jim Irsay, having owners like Irsay and Jerry Jones, and the Browns guy Jim Haslett.
yeah.
Sometimes boy they can just they can keep your organization down.
All right, K Jackson. Now ease up on my quarterback. Now Matt
Oh yeah,
Ryan
he's
didn't
over
get
talking
that
about
coach
getting
fired.
people.
The day that Andrew Luck retired, Frank Wright's job was already on the line.
I mean, if you look at it right, what do you expect them to do? 5 years in a row, you have 5 different quarterbacks starting the season.
Yeah, not to mention they didn't even want Frank Wright.
Right. Yeah, they wanted Josh McDaniels. Frank Wright was a consolation prize. So, and then their defense really went down when Eberflus went to Chicago. Eberflus? Ain't that how you say his name?
No, I know you talking about. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay, good. I said, man, don't tell me I done messed up another.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Let's see. Ghost Pepper says, how do we know we don't have anything special in Ritter? We don't. Can we at least see what we have in Ritter before we write him off? Unless Lamar Jackson's involved.
Exactly. I'm not writing them off.
Besides, the focus should be on getting the defense straightened out. I agree.
And that's true.
I did that in that sense for all the, you asked a handful of different questions. We don't know what we have in Ritter. But if you have a chance to get a proven guy, then you don't have to wonder what you have in Ritter. Because you'll know what you have in Jackson. That's kind of the point there.
And if anything, you will get you a valuable draft pick for Ritter, just like Jimmy Garoppolo was given a good value draft pick with New England.
Right. So, if say for whatever reason you land Lamar Jackson and next year in the preseason, Ritter looks real good, you could probably start making a trade like that. Oh, yeah. And then KJ says, don't forget about Daniel Snyder. Who could forget about Daniel Snyder? My guy. Lord have mercy. Let's see. Fire Lab Studio Production says, if Lamar Jackson comes here and we can't protect him and he overthrows receivers because his receivers are half assigned routes, are you going to call for him to be benched?
No, because offensive linemen are going to be lined up at the door to want to come play for the Atlanta Falcons if Lamar Jackson comes over here.
And I'll say this, realistically, the scheme is, especially this year with a quarterback that can move a little bit, the scheme has made our O-line look a lot better. You can't, until he got hurt, Hennessy actually looked pretty decent.
When they don't get in 3rd down and 7 longs, they look great.
Yeah, I get that. When you stay
they get exposed when they get in those situations, though.
But that's your buddy McGarry over there. Hey, McGarry, pass block. What? I said pass block. What? I didn't hear you. Yeah, you didn't see it either.
I said run block.
Run block. I got that. I can run block. Let's see. All right. I think it has come to be that fateful time. See if I can get everything going here. Fateful time of the show where I throw the Twitters up on the page. Man, we emptied the bucket.
I'll tell you what, from the little bit we've seen, there is people that is wide open for Lamar Jackson to come here, boy.
That's gonna be. Look, if we go through the rest of the season, we don't see Ritter, and we end up with some mediocre record and just missing out on the playoffs. Man. This offseason is gonna be
bananas,
dude. It's going to be one for the ages, and I am here for it because holy crap, it is going to be fun and interesting. I'm going to catch a few more comments before we go. Sip says Hennessy was better at left guard. I say he looked better. Now there was one of those sacks did come straight through the left guard center hole, and I was like, oh, there's Hennessy. So, I will say that it was not. There were times. Fire Lab said they're still not protecting Marcus Mariota. They are not. Now, there's a lot of that Mariota's doing to himself. I will definitely say there are plenty of times he's leaving the pocket too soon. Anyway, we can get into that another day. But you're right. Lamar Jackson is not Superman, but he has a far better resume than Mariota has. Let's see. Tony Rice says, well, they're having a press conference tonight in Indy. They may have already had it. I think they pushed it back or something. I don't know. An interim head coach, Jeff Saturday, may put Matt Ryan back in the lineup. We'll see what happens there.
And then he's gonna have one day of being a head coach. Cause Jim Irsay is not having it.
No, he ain't trying. He ain't trying to have Ryan be able to collect on that guaranteed money. So, hey, James Williams says if we get Lamar, I'm throwing my own parade. Parade of one. I think Toby will join you.
Where you live at?
Oh shoot! Oh man, we've had a lot of fun, and we appreciate y'all joining us on a Monday night. Buddy of mine, his had a family member pass away, so I will be attending a funeral tomorrow, which is why we had to have it today. So we thank y'all so much for joining us. Keep an eye on the channel. We got obviously Thursday night games, so I'm sure we may even go live Friday night, or I don't know. We'll see what goes on there. We'll figure out what we're going to do. But as always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Toby
D 1991.
Hey man, and if Elon Musk burns Twitter down, we got to figure out where else we going. Okay, because I have a lot of fun on Twitter. And if crazy mad scientist billionaire dude decides to burn it to the ground, y'all got to let me know where else we're going.
Yeah, right? I was wondering what you were saying.
Oh yeah, dude. And Anonymous said not Facebook. No, dude, I don't do Facebook. Facebook is full of a bunch of old crazy people. Like y'all gonna have to hit maybe Insta, maybe TikTok. I don't know. We're trying to build those other things too. So y'all just connect with us over there.
Appreciate that, Dre Murphy. He said sorry for the loss.
Oh yeah. It was not like unforeseen, but still it was tough, tough to deal with. So yeah, we got that to do tomorrow. But anyway, love all y'all. Appreciate y'all. Follow us on Twitter. Keep your eye on the channel. Hit us up on Instagram, on TikTok. We're trying to get, like I said, more involved in every place that isn't Facebook. So, and as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.